Commander Lisa Grant stood on the bridge of her ship. The ship was called Vengeance. It was a military destroyer, big and powerful. Lisa looked at the screens in front of her. They showed empty space with tiny dots of light that were stars far away. Everything seemed quiet and peaceful. Lisa had been a commander for 5 years. She was good at her job. The crew trusted her. They worked together like a team. For the past 3 years, humans had been part of something called the Galactic Council. This was a group of alien species from different planets. They worked together to keep peace in space. Everything had been calm for those 3 years. Too calm, Lisa thought. She had trained for battles in difficult situations. But nothing bad had happened. Sometimes she wondered if all that training was a waste. But she kept her crew ready anyway. You never knew when trouble might come. The bridge was quiet. People worked at their stations. They checked systems and watched for problems. Lieutenant Kevin Harris sat at the communication station. He was young but smart. He had been with Lisa for 2 years. Suddenly his face changed. He looked worried. "Commander," Kevin said. His voice was tight with concern. "I am picking up a distress signal. It is from the Zephyrian embassy ship." Lisa walked over to his station. Her boots made soft sounds on the metal floor. The Zephyrians were important. They were one of the oldest species in the Galactic Council. They had been in space for thousands of years. They were the ones who invited humans to join the Council. Without them, humans would still be alone in their own part of space. "Let me hear it," Lisa said. Kevin pressed some buttons. A face appeared on the main screen. It was Ambassador Krethix. He was a Zephyrian. His skin had scales that usually shined with many colors. But now the colors looked dull. He looked tired and scared. Behind him, Lisa could see smoke. Sparks flew from broken machines. People were running around in panic. "Commander Grant," the ambassador said. His voice shook. "Thank goodness we reached you. We are under attack. The Krellin swarm is attacking us. Our shields are breaking. Our weapons are not working properly. We need help. Please, we need your help." The signal was not clear. It kept breaking up. Lisa knew about the Krellins. They were raiders and pirates. For the past few months, they had been attacking ships and colonies in the outer regions of space. The Galactic Council had been talking about what to do. They had meetings and debates, but they never decided on action. The Krellins kept attacking while the Council kept talking. Lisa made a quick decision. "Helm, set a course to the ambassador's location. Go as fast as you can." She turned to another officer. "Lieutenant Amy Chen, send a message to Fleet Command. Tell them we are going to help the Zephyrians. Tell them we are engaging the Krellins." Amy was the communications officer. She had short black hair and quick fingers. She typed fast on her console. After a moment, she looked up. "Commander, Fleet Command says to be careful. They say we should wait for permission from the Council before we attack." Lisa felt angry. Wait for permission? People were dying right now. The ambassador had asked for help. That should be enough. This was exactly what was wrong with the Council. They talked and talked while people suffered. "Put their message in the log," Lisa said. Her voice was cold. "But we are not waiting. Those people asked for our help. We are going to help them." The crew looked at each other. They knew this was serious. Lisa was disobeying orders from Fleet Command. This could get her in trouble. It could get all of them in trouble. But they also knew their commander. They trusted her. If she said this was the right thing to do, then it was. "Turn on all weapons," Lisa said. "Charge the rail guns. Load the missile tubes. Kevin, show me what we are going up against." "I want to see data on Krellin tactics." Kevin worked fast. Information appeared on the screens. The Krellins used small, fast ships. They attacked in groups like insects swarming. Each ship had energy weapons. They were not very strong individually, but together they were dangerous. They would circle around bigger ships and attack from all sides. "I count 17 Krellin fighters," Kevin said. "They are using standard swarm tactics. They stay out of the embassy ship's weapon range and attack from different angles." Lisa studied the information. The Krellin ships were fast. They could turn quickly, but they had weak armor. The Vengeance was different. It was built by humans. Humans had learned about war the hard way. Earth had seen many wars. Humans had fought each other for thousands of years. They knew how to build weapons that worked. Human weapons were not like alien weapons. Most aliens used energy beams. They used shields that could stop energy. But human weapons were simpler. They used solid metal projectiles that moved very, very fast. They used missiles with explosives. These weapons were old ideas, but they worked very well in space. How long until we get there? Lisa asked. 4 minutes, Commander, the helmsman answered. 4 minutes. The ambassador's ship might not last that long. Lisa opened a communication channel back to the Zephyrian ship. Ambassador Krethix, this is Commander Grant. We are coming to you now. Put all your remaining power into your shields. Keep your ship protected. We will take care of the Krellans. The ambassador looked relieved. Even through the bad signal, Lisa could see hope on his face. Thank you, Commander. We did not think anyone would come. We thought we were alone. You asked for help, Lisa said. That is all we needed to hear. The Vengeance moved through space. It was going faster than the speed of light. This was possible because of special engines that bent space. The ship shook slightly as it flew. Everyone on the bridge was tense. They were ready for battle. Lisa felt calm. This was what she had trained for. This was what all humans had trained for, really. Humans came from Earth. Earth was a difficult planet. It had storms, earthquakes, and dangerous animals. Humans had to be tough to survive. They had to be smart and quick. These skills made them good fighters. Other aliens came from easier planets. Their worlds were safe and calm. They did not have the same history of struggle. When they fought, they followed rules. They had polite battles. They debated and discussed. Humans were different. When humans fought, they fought to win. They did not wait. They did not debate. They acted. This had sometimes caused problems in human history, but it had also helped humans survive. 2 minutes to contact, the helmsman announced. Lisa stood in the center of the bridge. She looked at her crew. They were ready. When we arrive, we hit them hard and fast. Show them what human weapons can do. Let us remind everyone why Earth is called a death world. A death world. That was what other aliens called Earth. It was a planet where everything tried to kill you. The weather, the animals, the diseases. Humans had survived all of it. They had become the top species on their planet. Now they were in space, and they brought all their survival skills with them. The Krellans were about to learn what that meant. The Vengeance came out of faster-than-light travel. There was a flash of bright blue and white light. Suddenly, they were at the battle. The main screen showed everything. The Zephyrian embassy ship was there. It looked bad. The shields around it were weak and flickering. They looked like a candle flame about to go out. Around the embassy ship, Krellan fighters flew in circles. They moved fast like angry insects. Their weapons shot beams of energy at the bigger ship. Each hit made the shields weaker. The Zephyrians were in trouble. I have target locks, Kevin said. His fingers moved quickly over his controls. 17 enemy ships confirmed. They see us now. Lisa watched the screen. 6 of the Krellan fighters broke away from the embassy ship. They turned toward the Vengeance. Their formation was tight and organized. These pilots knew what they were doing. They had done this many times before, but so had Lisa. Helmsman, move to intercept, Lisa ordered. Weapons, I want railguns to target the left group. Missiles for the right group. Get me a firing solution for all 6 ships. A firing solution meant the computer calculated exactly where to aim. In space, things moved very fast. You had to shoot where the target would be, not where it was now. The Vengeance's computers were very good at this. Solution locked, Kevin confirmed. Ready to fire. Fire, Lisa said calmly. The railguns fired first. These were special weapons. They used magnetic forces to throw small pieces of metal very, very fast. The metal pieces were made of tungsten, which was very hard and heavy. When fired, they moved at almost the speed of light. In space, there is no air. So there is no sound, but the results were loud enough. The first Krellan fighter exploded. It simply came apart into thousands of pieces. The tungsten round hit it so hard that the whole ship shattered. The second fighter tried to use its shields, but the shields were made to stop energy beams, not solid metal moving that fast. The round went right through. It made a hole from the front of the ship to the back. The ship died instantly. At the same time, missiles launched from the Vengeance. Human missiles were simple but deadly. They had rocket engines and explosives. They also had smart computer brains that could think and adjust their path. Once a missile locked onto a target, it was very hard to escape. The Krellan pilots saw the missiles coming. They tried to dodge. Their ships twisted and turned in ways that would kill a human pilot. But the Krellans had special fluid in their ships that protected them from the force of quick turns. 2 of the Krellan ships managed to dodge the first missiles. They turned so sharp and so fast that the missiles flew past them. But the missiles were smart. They curved around and came back. They adjusted their path and kept chasing. A few seconds later, both Krellin ships exploded in bright balls of fire and light. Now only 2 Krellin fighters were left from the group of 6. They split up. One went left, one went right. They were trying to attack the Vengeance from 2 sides at once. This was a smart tactic. It made the defender choose which threat to deal with first. While you fought one enemy, the other could attack you. Lisa had learned about this tactic in training. She knew how Galactic Council ships usually handled it. They would pick one target and focus all weapons on it. While they did that, the other enemy would attack and damage them. It was not a good solution, but most aliens did not have a better one. Humans had a better way. "Turn on point defense," Lisa ordered. Point defense was a system of small automatic guns. They were placed all around the Vengeance. Each gun had its own computer brain. They tracked anything that came close and shot at it. They were designed to protect the ship from missiles and small fighters. The 2 Krellin fighters came closer. They started shooting their energy weapons at the Vengeance. The beams of light hit the ship's shields. But the shields were strong. The Krellin weapons could not break through. Then the point defense guns opened fire. Dozens of small guns all fired at once. They created a wall of metal bullets in space. The first Krellin fighter flew right into this wall. Its shields stopped some bullets, but not all of them. The shields failed after a few seconds. Then the bullets tore into the fighter's hull. They destroyed engines, weapons, and life support. The ship went dark and started spinning through space. The second Krellin pilot was smarter. He stayed at the edge of the point defense range. He kept firing his weapons but did not come too close. His shots kept hitting the Vengeance's shields, but they did no real damage. "Kevin, target that last ship manually," Lisa said. "Amy, open a communication channel to the remaining Krellin forces." Amy looked surprised but did what she was told. A moment later, a face appeared on the screen. It was a Krellin. His head looked like an insect's head. He had big eyes and mandibles like a beetle. It was hard to read emotion on an alien face, but he looked angry or confused. "This is Commander Lisa Grant of the Terran destroyer Vengeance," Lisa said. Her voice was calm and professional. "You are attacking a ship that is protected by the Galactic Council. Stop your attack now. If you do not stop, we will destroy all of you." The Krellin commander made a chittering sound. The computer translated it as laughter. "You destroyed 6 of my ships in seconds, human." "Was that not your full power?" Lisa smiled, but it was not a friendly smile. "No, Commander. That was just a demonstration. If we use our full power, none of you will survive to report back to your leaders." There was a pause. Lisa could see the Krellin commander thinking. His mandibles moved. The Krellins had built their reputation on being strong. They attacked weaker ships and overwhelmed them with numbers. They had never met an enemy who was faster and stronger than them. "You are lying," the commander finally said, but his voice did not sound certain. "Kevin, fire 1 missile. Target their command ship. Aim for the sensor array on top." 1 missile launched. The Krellin fighters all scattered. They thought the missile would chase them, but it ignored all the small fighters. It went straight for the biggest Krellin ship. The commander's eyes grew wide as he watched it come toward him on his own screens. Just before the missile hit, it exploded. The explosion was small and precise. When the light faded, the Krellin command ship was still there. It was not destroyed. But the sensor dome on top of the ship was completely gone. It had been blown away perfectly. "That was precision," Lisa said quietly. "Would you like to see what happens when we aim for the center of your ship?" The Krellin commander stared at her. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he cut the communication. A few seconds later, all the Krellin ships started to leave. They turned away from the battle and flew away as fast as they could. Amy let out a breath. "They are leaving. All enemy ships are retreating. Stay alert until they are out of sensor range," Lisa ordered. "Kevin, track all of them. If they come back, I want to know before they get close." As the Krellin ships disappeared into the darkness, Lisa opened a channel to the embassy ship. "Ambassador Krethix, this is the Vengeance. The enemy is gone. The threat is over. Do you need help with repairs?" The ambassador's face appeared on the screen. He looked relieved and amazed at the same time. "Commander Grant, we are damaged, but we can function. What you just did was remarkable. I have never seen such efficient fighting. You defeated them so quickly." Lisa shrugged. "We do what we can, Ambassador. My crew can send over an engineering team if you need help fixing your ship. That would help very much, Commander. And thank you. Thank you for coming when we called for help. Lisa nodded. The screen went dark. She looked around the bridge. Her crew was quiet. They had just won a battle without taking any damage. They had saved the Zephyrian ship. But Lisa knew this was just the beginning. Word would spread about what happened here. Other aliens would hear about how humans fought. That would change things. For better or worse, humans had just shown the galaxy what they could do. 2 days passed after the battle. The Vengeance stayed near the Zephyrian embassy ship. Human engineers worked with the Zephyrian crew to fix the damaged systems. Sparks flew as they welded metal. Wires were reconnected. Computers were repaired. It was hard work, but everyone helped. Lisa spent those 2 days writing reports. She had to explain everything that happened, every decision she made, every shot fired. She wrote it all down carefully. She knew that Fleet Command on Earth would read these reports. They would decide if she had done the right thing. On the 3rd day, a call came from Earth. Admiral Jacob Stone wanted to talk to her. Admiral Stone was an important man. He was one of the top commanders in the human fleet. He was old and had fought in many battles during the border wars. Those wars had happened before humans met aliens. Human colonies had fought each other over resources and territory. Admiral Stone had been a hero in those wars. Lisa sat in her office. She pressed a button and Admiral Stone's face appeared on the screen. He had gray hair and a weathered face. Behind him she could see the walls of Fleet Command headquarters on Earth. The Admiral looked serious. "Commander Grant," the Admiral said. His voice was neutral. She could not tell if he was angry or pleased. "Your report has caused a lot of discussion here at headquarters." Lisa sat up straight. "Sir, I stand by everything I did. The Zephyrians needed help. We were in a position to give it. The Krellans were clearly the attackers. I am not questioning your choices, Commander," Admiral Stone said. A small smile appeared on his face. "Actually, the Galactic Council is very upset, but not at you. They are upset with themselves. Word has spread about your fight with the Krellans. Everyone is talking about it," the Admiral leaned forward. "The Krellans have been a problem for months. Every time they attack, the Council spends weeks talking about what to do. They debate and argue. By the time they agree on something, the Krellans have already attacked somewhere else. It has been frustrating everyone. And now we have shown that the Krellans can be stopped," Lisa said. She was starting to understand. "Exactly," the Admiral agreed. "Ambassador Krethix has been telling everyone about you. He calls you a great warrior. He says humans are brave and honorable. The other council members are listening. They are taking notice." Lisa felt worried. "What are you telling me, Admiral?" Admiral Stone's face became grim. "The Zephyrians have made a formal request. They want human military help to stop the Krellan threat. Not just your ship, Grant. They want a whole task force, multiple ships, and they want you to lead them." The words hung in the air. Lisa thought about what this meant. A task force, multiple ships working together, a coordinated military campaign. This was not a rescue mission. This was not a patrol. This was war. "Has Earth accepted?" Lisa asked quietly. "The President is thinking about it right now," Admiral Stone said. "But Grant, you need to understand something. The Galactic Council does not fight wars the way we do. They do not understand how humans fight. They have been fighting the Krellans with energy weapons and shields. They try to match the Krellans in speed. That does not work. Because the Krellans are naturally better at that kind of fighting," Lisa said. "Right," the Admiral nodded. "But we have seen what human weapons can do. Kinetic weapons, missiles, point defense systems. We fight differently because we evolved differently. Earth was harder than most planets. We had to learn to fight just to survive." Lisa thought about the battle with the Krellans. The aliens had been fast and coordinated, but they had never fought an enemy that used solid projectiles. Their shields were designed to stop energy beams. They could not stop chunks of metal moving at incredible speeds. Their tactics assumed enemies would try to outmaneuver them. They did not expect enemies to simply shoot them down with overwhelming firepower. "What do you need from me, Admiral?" Lisa asked. "If this goes forward, you will be promoted to captain. You will command a battle group. 5 ships, including the Vengeance. Your mission will be to eliminate the Krellan threat in this sector. You will have full authority to decide how to do it. 5 ships against an enemy with hundreds of fighters. The odds were not good. But Lisa had faced bad odds before. Every human had. That was the story of humanity. Bad odds and impossible situations, and somehow humans always survived. I will need to pick my own officers, Lisa said, and I need complete freedom to make tactical decisions. If the Council tries to control every move, we will fail. We will end up paralyzed like they are. Admiral Stone nodded. That is already in the proposal. The Zephyrians were very clear. They want humans to handle this in the human way. The human way, Lisa repeated softly. They have no idea what they are asking for, do they? The Admiral's expression was serious. No, Commander. They really do not. They think they are hiring soldiers. They do not understand that they are about to see how Deathworlders fight a war. After the call ended, Lisa sat alone. She thought about what the Admiral had said. The Galactic Council had existed for thousands of years. They maintained peace through talking and diplomacy. When wars happened, they were fought with rules. There were protocols and procedures. Even the Krellans, who were pirates, followed certain rules. Humans had no such traditions. Humans came from Earth. Earth was a planet where everything tried to kill you. The weather could kill you. Animals could kill you. Diseases could kill you. Even other humans could kill you. To survive on Earth, you had to be tough. You had to be smart. You had to adapt and never give up. Humans had built cities in deserts where nothing could grow. They had built homes on ice where it was always frozen. They had crossed huge oceans in wooden boats. They had survived plagues that killed millions. They had fought wars that destroyed entire continents. And through it all, they had survived and grown stronger. When humans fought, they did not fight for honor or glory. They fought to win. They fought to survive. They used every advantage they had. They were creative and ruthless. They did not follow rules if the rules did not make sense. Lisa pulled up files on her computer. She started looking at personnel records. She needed to pick officers for the other ships. She needed people who understood strategy. People who could think quickly under pressure. People who would not hesitate when action was needed. She found a file on Captain Ryan Cole. He was a veteran of the border wars. He was known for being aggressive and bold. His tactics were unconventional but effective. Lisa marked his file. Next, she found Captain Monica Shaw. She specialized in long-range combat. She was calm and precise. She could calculate firing solutions faster than most computers. Lisa marked her file too. Then there were Captains Peter Davis and Laura King. They commanded smaller ships called frigates. They were experts in defensive fighting and close combat. They worked well together. Lisa marked both their files. These would be her commanders. Together, they would lead 5 ships against the Krellan threat. It was not a large force, but it did not need to be. Lisa understood something that the Galactic Council did not. War was not about having the most ships or the biggest weapons. War was about will. It was about determination. It was about refusing to quit no matter what. The Krellans had been attacking for months because no one stopped them. The Council talked but never acted. The Krellans thought they were invincible. They thought no one could defeat them. They were about to learn they were wrong. Lisa finished selecting her command staff. She sent the files to Admiral Stone. Then she sat back and looked out the window of her office. Outside, she could see stars. Somewhere out there, the Krellans were planning their next attack. They were confident and strong, but they had never fought humans before. They had never faced an enemy that came from a death world. They had never met creatures that refused to die, that adapted to any challenge, that turned every disadvantage into an advantage. The Galactic Council was about to learn a lesson. When you ask Deathworlders for help, you get Deathworlder solutions. And Deathworlder solutions were not polite. They were not civilized. They were brutal and effective. They worked, Lisa smiled. The Krellans wanted a war. Now they were going to get one. But it would not be the kind of war they expected. It would be a human war. And in a human war, there was only one acceptable outcome: total victory. 3 weeks later, Captain Lisa Grant stood in an observation room. She was on a space station that orbited Earth. Through the huge windows, she could see her fleet. 5 ships floated in space. They were arranged in a formation. The light from Earth's sun made their hulls shine. The Vengeance was her flagship now. It had been upgraded. New weapons were installed. The armor was made stronger. Next to it was the cruiser Defiance. Captain Ryan Cole commanded that ship. He was known for his aggressive tactics. The destroyer Relentless floated nearby. Captain Monica Shaw was its commander. Her ship specialized in long-range attacks. Two smaller ships, the frigates Hammer and Anvil, completed the group. Captain Peter Davis commanded Hammer. Captain Laura King commanded Anvil. It was not the largest fleet in human history. But Lisa knew size did not matter. What mattered was skill and determination. Humans had always won through quality, not quantity. They are beautiful, are they not? Lisa turned. Admiral Stone stood next to her. His hands were behind his back. He was looking at the fleet too. They are weapons, Admiral, Lisa said. Deadly ones. That is true, Admiral Stone agreed. But they are more than that. They are a statement. Each ship represents humanity's refusal to be victims. We built ourselves from nothing. We fought for every bit of progress. Now we are taking that fight to the stars. Lisa looked at the Admiral. You are worried. Of course I am, the Admiral said. You are about to show the galaxy how humans fight. That will change things. Once people see what we can do, they will either respect us or fear us. Maybe both. The Krellans must be stopped, Lisa said firmly. The Council has been talking for months while people die. Someone must act. I am not questioning the mission, Admiral Stone said. I am just reminding you that actions have results. The Galactic Council has fought wars for thousands of years, but they have never fought like humans do. When you fight the Krellans, you are not just winning a battle. You are setting an example for how humanity will act in galactic affairs. Lisa was quiet for a moment. What would you do, Admiral, if you were in my position? Admiral Stone smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Exactly what you are planning. Hit them hard. Hit them fast. Make them regret ever hearing the word human. Just remember that you represent Earth. Make us proud. Hours later, Lisa was in a meeting room on the Vengeance. Her command staff sat around a table. Captain Ryan Cole leaned back in his chair. His face had scars from old battles. Captain Monica Shaw sat very straight. She had perfect military posture. Captains Peter Davis and Laura King sat together. They looked eager and ready. Let us go over the intelligence again, Lisa said. She turned on a holographic display. A map of space appeared floating above the table. It showed many star systems. Each one had a mark showing where Krellan attacks had happened. The Krellans have been working from this area for 6 months. They have attacked mining stations, trade ships, and civilian vessels. Our analysis suggests they have a base somewhere in this asteroid field. Ryan Cole studied the map. That is a lot of space. There are millions of asteroids. Anyone could hide a base. True, Monica Shaw said. But the Krellans need supplies. Food, water, air. They cannot hide forever. Their supply lines will reveal them. Lisa nodded. That is our plan. We will not chase fighters across empty space. We will cut off their supplies and force them to come to us. Peter Davis frowned. Will that not take weeks? The Council wants quick results. The Council can wait, Lisa said flatly. We are not here to put on a show. We are here to solve a problem. That means doing it right, not doing it fast. Laura King smiled. A proper siege, I like it. Very human. Exactly, Lisa agreed. The Krellans fight like insects. They swarm and overwhelm. We will fight like humans. We will be patient. We will be methodical. And we will be absolutely ruthless, she changed the display. It now showed tactical information. Lines appeared showing possible supply routes and ambush points. Hammer and Anvil will be the forward screen. You will stop any supply ships. Relentless will provide long-range support from the center. Defiance and Vengeance will be the main battle line. What about Council observers? Monica Shaw asked. The Zephyrians want to watch our operations. Lisa's face became hard. They can watch from a safe distance. I will not risk having diplomats interfere during combat. If they want to see how we fight, they can watch the recordings later. Ryan Cole laughed. They will not like that. Then they should not have asked for human help, Lisa said. We do this our way or we do not do it at all. Does anyone have a problem with that? The room was silent. Each captain knew what Lisa meant. This would not be a polite conflict. This would not be civilized. This would be war as humans understood it. Brutal, efficient, and total. Good, Lisa said. We jump to the target zone in 6 hours. Get your crews ready. Make sure every system works perfectly. Once we start, there is no going back. The captains stood and left. Lisa stayed in the room. She looked at the holographic map. Somewhere in that asteroid field, Krellans were preparing for another raid. They were confident. They thought they were superior. They thought their speed and numbers made them unbeatable. They had no idea what was coming. Lisa thought about human history. Humans had faced extinction many times. Ice ages had almost killed them. Diseases had wiped out entire populations. Wars had destroyed civilizations. But humans always survived. They adapted. They learned. They became stronger. Other species in the galaxy came from safe worlds. Their evolution was peaceful. They developed technology slowly over millions of years. They learned to cooperate because they had time. They had no natural predators. Their planets did not try to kill them. Earth was different. Earth was hard. It had predators that hunted humans. It had weather that could freeze or burn you. It had diseases that killed without mercy. It had other humans who competed for the same resources. To survive on Earth, you had to be tough. You had to be smart. You had to be willing to do whatever was necessary. That was why humans were called Deathworlders. Earth was a death world, a planet where life was a constant struggle, and humans were the species that won that struggle. They climbed to the top of the food chain through intelligence, cooperation, and sheer determination. Now humans were in space. They brought all their survival skills with them. They brought their weapons technology, developed through thousands of years of warfare. They brought their tactical knowledge, learned in countless battles. They brought their will to survive, forged in the fires of Earth's brutal history. The Krellans thought they were fierce. They thought they were warriors. But they had never met true warriors. They had never fought someone who refused to lose. They had never faced an enemy that would sacrifice everything for victory. Lisa walked to the window. She looked out at the stars. Each point of light was a sun. Around those suns were planets. On those planets were people living their lives. Some of those people were being terrorized by the Krellans. They were afraid. They felt helpless. That was about to change. The human fleet was going to show the Krellans that their reign of terror was over. They were going to show the galaxy that humans kept their promises. When someone asked for help, humans answered. And when humans answered, they brought solutions. Deathworlder solutions. The human fleet arrived at the target zone. They did not try to hide. Most military forces would sneak in quietly and try to surprise the enemy. But Lisa wanted the Krellans to see them. She wanted them to know humans were there. Within hours, a Krellan patrol found them. 8 fighters came toward the human ships. They moved in their typical formation, tight and coordinated. They flew fast and looked confident. These pilots probably thought this would be an easy fight. Lisa watched them approach on the tactical display. Their energy signatures showed bright against the darkness of space. She waited calmly. "All weapons are free to fire," Lisa said. Her voice was calm. "Show them what they are dealing with." The Relentless fired first. Its long-range missiles launched. They crossed the distance between the ships with mechanical precision. The Krellan fighters scattered. They clearly expected energy weapons they could dodge, but missiles did not care about dodging. They simply adjusted course and kept coming. 3 fighters exploded in the first volley. The remaining 5 tried to close the distance. They fired their weapons wildly at the human ships. Energy beams splashed against the shields. But the shields held easily. The Krellan weapons barely made the shields flicker. Then the railguns spoke. Hammer and anvil were positioned perfectly. They created a crossfire. Tungsten rounds moved at incredible speed. They did not just destroy the Krellan fighters. They erased them. The ships turned into clouds of glowing plasma and metal fragments. The whole fight lasted 43 seconds. 8 Krellan fighters eliminated. 0 damage to the human fleet. Send a message, Lisa ordered. Broadcast it on all frequencies. Tell them the Terran fleet is here to end their operations. Any ship that surrenders will be taken prisoner. Any ship that fights will be destroyed. They have 6 hours to decide. Amy Chen looked up from her station. "Captain, the Zephyrian observers are asking about the ultimatum. They say this is not standard council procedure." Lisa did not look away from the display. "Tell them council procedure has not stopped the Krellans. We are trying something different. If they do not like it, they can complain after we finish." Over the next 3 days, the pattern repeated. Krellan fighters would approach. They came in confident, relying on their numbers and speed. The human fleet would destroy them efficiently. Then they would broadcast another ultimatum. Each time, the Krellans ignored the offer to surrender. On the 4th day, something changed. Sensors detected a massive energy buildup deep in the asteroid field. Kevin Harris studied the data. His face was grim. Captain, I am reading almost 200 Krellin fighters. They are powering up. This looks like a full assault. Lisa looked at the numbers. 200 fighters. The Krellins were committing everything. They probably hoped to overwhelm the human fleet with sheer numbers. It was a good strategy. It had worked against Council forces many times before. It would not work this time. All ships go to battle stations, Lisa commanded. Ryan, take Defiance to position Alpha. Monica, move Relentless to position Beta. Peter, Laura, form the defensive screen. Standard phalanx formation. The fleet moved into position smoothly. The 5 ships formed a pattern. It was a defensive formation. Ancient armies on Earth had used similar patterns. It created overlapping fields of fire. Each ship could support the others. The Krellin swarm emerged from the asteroid field. It looked like an angry cloud of insects. 200 fighters all moving together in perfect coordination. Their formation was beautiful and terrifying. They accelerated toward the human fleet. They were confident in their numbers. Range to target? Lisa asked. 100,000 kilometers in closing, Kevin replied. They are holding formation. Maximum speed. Good, let them come closer. All ships hold fire until they reach 50,000 kilometers. The Krellin swarm closed the distance quickly. The range counter dropped. 50,000 kilometers, 40,000, 30,000. Still, the human ships held fire. At 20,000 kilometers, the Krellins opened fire. Energy beams shot through space. It was a coordinated attack designed to overwhelm shields through volume. The human shields flared as they absorbed the hits, but they held strong. At 15,000 kilometers, Lisa gave the order. All ships weapons free. Fire everything. The human fleet erupted. Railguns fired rapidly. Tungsten rounds crossed space faster than any pilot could see. Missile batteries launched everything at once. Hundreds of warheads accelerated toward the Krellin swarm. Each one had a single purpose. The Krellins tried to evade. Their formation broke apart as individual pilots fought to survive. But there was nowhere to go. The human weapons were not aimed at where the ships were. They were aimed at where the ships would be. The computers had calculated every possible evasion. The first volley destroyed 60 fighters in 3 seconds. The second volley took another 40. The Krellins that survived were scattered. Their coordination was completely broken. The point defense systems activated. The remaining fighters tried to close to attack range, but they flew into a wall of fire. Small automated guns tracked every target. They fired constantly. Any ship that tried to get close was torn apart before it could reach weapons range. The battle lasted less than 4 minutes. When the guns fell silent, only debris remained. 200 Krellin fighters gone. The human fleet had minor shield damage. Nothing serious, Amy's voice broke the silence. Captain, incoming transmission from the asteroid field. It is the Krellin commander. Put him through. The screen showed the same Krellin commander from before, but he looked different now. His confidence was gone. In its place was fear. We surrender, the commander said. His voice shook. The translator made it sound hoarse. Please, no more death. We surrender. Lisa looked at him for a long moment. You had 6 hours to make that choice. You decided to fight instead. We did not understand, the commander said desperately. We thought you were like the others. We thought we could win. We were wrong. Please, Commander, we surrender. All ships cease fire, Lisa ordered. She turned back to the screen. You will send us the coordinates of your base. You will power down all weapons. You will prepare your people for transport to Council custody. If you deviate from these instructions, we will resume combat. Do you understand? Yes, Commander. We understand. Over the next 12 hours, the human fleet processed the surrender. Nearly 500 Krellin prisoners were taken. Evidence of their crimes was collected. The Krellin base was seized. Its weapons were destroyed. Ambassador Krethix came to the vengeance. He wanted to thank Captain Lisa Grant personally. The Zephyrian looked shaken but impressed. I have seen many military operations, Captain, Krethix said, but nothing like this. Your efficiency, your precision. It was almost frightening, Lisa nodded. That is the point, Ambassador. War should not be civilized. It should not be fair. It should be over as quickly as possible with minimum loss of life. Sometimes the fastest way to peace is to make your enemies realize they cannot win. The Council will want to learn your methods, Krethix said. They will want to use your tactics. That is up to them, Lisa replied. But they need to understand something first. Human tactics are not just about weapons. They are about mindset. We come from a world that tried to kill us every day. We learned to survive by being smarter, faster and more ruthless than anything that hunted us. That is not something you can copy. The ambassador was quiet. You come from a death world. All humans do. That makes you different. Yes, Lisa agreed. And you asked Deathworlders for help. This is what that looks like. Later that evening, Captain Lisa Grant stood alone on the bridge of the Vengeance. The lights were dimmed for night cycle. Most of the crew was sleeping or resting. Only the essential staff remained on duty. Through the main window, stars stretched into infinity. Each point of light represented possibilities, worlds, and people. Lisa thought about everything that had happened. Just a few weeks ago, she had been a simple commander on patrol duty. Now she was a captain who had led a fleet to victory. She had shown the galaxy what human warfare looked like. The question was, what would happen next? The door opened behind her. Kevin Harris entered the bridge. He looked tired but satisfied. Captain, the last of the prisoners have been transferred to council custody. All evidence has been documented. The Krellin base has been completely dismantled. Thank you, Kevin, Lisa said. Get some rest. You have earned it, Kevin nodded and left. Lisa turned back to the window. She thought about the Krellins. They had been terrorizing this sector for months. They had attacked the weak and defenseless. They thought no one could stop them. The Galactic Council had debated endlessly but never acted. Then humans arrived. In less than a week, the Krellin threat was ended. Not through diplomacy or negotiation. Not through lengthy debates or careful consideration. Through direct action. Through overwhelming force. Through the willingness to do what needed to be done. This would change how other species viewed humanity. For 3 years, humans had been the new members of the Galactic Council. They were polite and cooperative. They followed the rules and tried to fit in. They wanted to be accepted. But now the galaxy had seen something different. They had seen humans fight. They had seen the efficiency and brutality of human warfare. They had seen what Deathworlders could do when pushed to action. Some species would be grateful. They would appreciate that someone finally dealt with the Krellin problem. They would feel safer knowing humans were willing to protect the innocent. But others would be afraid. They would worry about human power. They would wonder if humans could be controlled. Lisa understood their fear. Humans were different from most galactic species. They came from a harder background. Earth had not been kind to its children. It had tested them constantly. Every natural disaster, every predator, every disease was a challenge that had to be overcome. Those who could not adapt died. Those who adapted became stronger. Over millions of years, this process had created a species that refused to quit. Humans did not accept defeat. When faced with impossible odds, they found a way. When resources were scarce, they innovated. When enemies were stronger, they became smarter. This trait had served humans well on Earth. It had allowed them to spread across the entire planet. They lived in frozen tundra and burning deserts. They crossed vast oceans and climbed the highest mountains. They turned hostile environments into homes. Now humans were bringing that same determination to space. They were adapting to a new environment. They were learning to compete with species that had been spacefaring for thousands of years, and they were succeeding. The communication console beeped. Lisa walked over and pressed a button. A message appeared. It was from Fleet Command on Earth. Admiral Stone wanted to speak with her. Lisa sat down and opened the channel. Admiral Stone's face appeared. He looked pleased. Captain Grant, congratulations on a successful mission. The President asked me to convey her thanks. You have done Earth proud. Thank you, Admiral, Lisa said. The crew performed excellently. They deserve the credit. I am sure they did, the Admiral agreed. But leadership matters, Captain. You made the right decisions under pressure. That is what separates good officers from great ones. He paused. However, I need to warn you about something. The Galactic Council is holding emergency sessions. They are discussing the implications of your mission. Lisa felt a knot in her stomach. What kind of implications? Some council members are concerned about human military capabilities. They saw how quickly you defeated the Krellins. They are wondering if humans might become a threat. Others are impressed and want closer military cooperation. It is creating divisions. Lisa nodded slowly. She had expected this. What does Earth want me to do, Admiral? Nothing different, Admiral Stone said firmly. You did the right thing. You saved lives. You stopped criminals. If some council members are uncomfortable with that, it is their problem, not ours. Earth stands behind you completely, but it will make things more complicated, Lisa said. Everything worth doing is complicated, the Admiral replied. Captain, humanity is at a crossroads. We can either hide what we are, or we can be honest about our capabilities. You chose honesty. You showed the galaxy that humans keep their promises. When someone asks for help, we answer. And when we answer, we solve the problem. The Admiral leaned forward. Some species will fear us for that, but many more will respect us. And respect is what matters in galactic politics. Fear fades. Respect endures. After the call ended, Lisa sat quietly. She thought about the Admiral's words. Respect and fear. Two sides of the same coin. Humans had earned both through this mission. She walked back to the window. Out there, the galaxy continued its eternal dance. Billions of beings living their lives. Most of them would never know what happened here. They would never know about the battle or the victory. But word would spread among governments and military leaders. They would know that humans were not to be underestimated. Lisa thought about the future. More challenges would come. There would be other threats, other crises. The Galactic Council would continue to debate while problems festered, and humans would have to decide how to respond. She knew what her choice would be. She would act. She would do what needed to be done. Because that was what humans did. They did not wait for permission to do the right thing. They did not let bureaucracy paralyze them. They saw problems and solved them. This trait made some aliens uncomfortable. They preferred the slow, careful approach. They liked committees and procedures. They felt safer when everything was controlled and predictable, but life was not predictable. Threats did not wait for committees. Evil did not pause for paperwork. Sometimes swift action was the only moral choice. Humans understood this instinctively. Their history had taught them hard lessons. They knew that hesitation could be fatal. They knew that good intentions meant nothing without action to back them up. The Krellans had learned this lesson the hard way. They thought they were invincible. They thought their speed and numbers made them unbeatable. They discovered they were wrong. They discovered that humans fought differently, not with elegant energy weapons and polite tactics, but with brutal efficiency and overwhelming force. Lisa smiled slightly. The Krellans would tell their story. They would warn others about the humans from the death world. They would speak of weapons that could not be dodged and tactics that could not be countered. They would describe how their entire force was destroyed in minutes, and other potential threats would listen. They would think twice before attacking innocent ships. They would remember what happened to the Krellans. They would know that there was a new power in the galaxy, a power that did not tolerate aggression against the weak. That was good. Peace through strength. It was an old human concept. Sometimes the best way to prevent war was to be so strong that no one dared to start one. The door opened again. This time it was Amy Chen. She carried a data pad. Captain, final casualty reports from the Zephyrian embassy ship. Thanks to your quick response, they lost no crew members. Everyone survived. Lisa felt relief wash over her. That was why they had come. Not for glory or recognition, but to save lives. Every person on that embassy ship would go home to their families. They would continue their lives. And they would remember that humans helped them when they needed it most. Thank you, Amy, Lisa said. Make sure the crew knows. They should be proud of what they accomplished. Amy smiled and left. Lisa returned to her contemplation of the stars. She thought about Earth, far away but always in her heart. That blue-green world where life was a constant challenge. The planet that had forged humanity into what it was. Deathworlders. That was what the galaxy called them. It was meant to be a warning. A designation that marked humans as dangerous. But Lisa wore the title with pride. Yes, humans came from a death world. Yes, they were shaped by hardship and struggle. And yes, that made them formidable. But it also made them compassionate. Because humans knew what suffering felt like. They knew what it meant to be weak and threatened. They knew the value of help when it was needed most. That was why the ambassador's call for help had meant so much. It was not just a diplomatic transmission. It was a person in need, and humans could not ignore that. Their instinct to help, to protect, to defend the weak was as strong as their instinct to survive. The galaxy was learning about humanity. They were learning that humans were complex, fierce in battle but honorable in victory, ruthless to enemies but loyal to friends, willing to take terrible risks to do what they believed was right. This would shape humanity's future in space. They would not be just another council member. They would be partners, allies, protectors, and when necessary, warriors. Lisa felt a sense of satisfaction. The mission was over. The Krellin threat was ended. Lives were saved. Justice was served. It was a good day's tomorrow would bring new challenges.